believe in every student, our goal really became, how do we build a learning environment? And Steve challenged us. And he said all books, learning materials, and assessments should be digital and interactive, tailored to each student and providing feedback in real time. To me, assessment, the new assessment is feedback. It's not these big humongous, tests that we take, but it's going to be real-time feedback to the teacher as to where that student is at any given time. So this gave us the what we wanted to do. We needed to build a personal learning environment. We needed to build a learning environment that met the needs of this generation of students. The SAMR model, which came out of the Maine Learning Initiative, which Governor King started a one-to-one in 2002, and it said technology can be used as a substitution, but it won't change any outcomes. You really need to use technology to empower you to do something that you couldn't do without the classroom should look like this. There should be a relationship between the teacher and the student. The student should be able to go outside the four walls to bring the expertise that they need in, all right? And whatever they do should have a relevant impact on their community. Seth Godin said, never again is someone going to pay you to give them answers they can look up online. They're only going to pay you to solve problems and don't have answers. All right? So this is a typical 5th grade class in Chicago, Illinois. And as you can see here, in the blue represents reading level. And I have one student reading at the 8th grade level and one student reading at the 1st grade level. All right? How, as a teacher, do I meet the needs of this kind of diverse environment? In fact, there's another academic model called flow that says if I have a high challenge and a low skill, I have frustration and I have anxiety. And John Medina says, look, if your student's anxious, the learning shuts down, the brain shuts down. And vice versa, if I have a high-skilled student and a low challenge, then I've got boredom. So it's not simply for the teacher to give every student the same thing. She's got to find the flow for each individual student. So I took a quick pass at how many hours a week would this take our teachers, right? To do a pre-test, to curate, to find the appropriate learning activity, to send that activity to each individual student, and then to test each individual student for that gap in their knowledge. And guess what, folks? It's more than 40 hours. I've seen this number as high as 128 hours. Steve used to ask me to do these incredible tasks in the most unbelievable short time. And I used to tell Steve, Steve, I believe in miracles, but only God can schedule them, okay? In a sense, we've asked our teachers to schedule a miracle every week of the year. We have a flawed system. So what happens is we lose the top of we lose the bottom. And we teach to the wrong minimum. So we're not meeting the needs of each individual student. I'm going to wrap up here. This just gives you an example. We've worked with a company called eSparks that uses technologies to vet the apps and then delivers the appropriate app to the student based on the gaps in the Northwest Educational Assessment Test. This was the breakdown of the students in these 300 students. And Northwest Educational Assessment says 70% needs to be the test score if you're moving towards college. After using the technology for one semester, this is the difference between the growth of those students. So the point here is we need technology. Thank you for your time.